Yes, welcome to this channel, and I know some of you have been asking what is now coming in. Today I have one of the biggest man, and I think I've tried to know him for some period of time, but I've always looked for how do I get him. Today he's on the camera, and this is your guy, Triamble Ignatius, the business coach, the business mentor, an entrepreneur, and every time we come on this channel, we are always sharing ideas on how we can do businesses, and especially make businesses make money for us. Someone was saying that we don't make money, but we only generate money. Now, this is the why we are coming to this discussion, and we today have not been having this topic before, and this is the topic to discuss about agriculture. Wanyira Dennis, CEO and Managing Director, Christ the King Agro Dealers. His passion to agriculture and supporting farmers to make sure that they can also take a step to make more money and in the sector of agriculture. This is the reason to why he's here, and he will be taking us through a number of discussions, and we'll be looking at why some of us are biased about agriculture, why we don't feel like agriculture is doable, and what others are doing to make it doable. Mr. Dennis, welcome on the on this show, and we'll be discussing about agriculture as a business and taking agriculture as a business as well. How can farmers be helped? Because this could be a problem, but what could be the solution?
Now, one of the solutions I want to tell you that farmers who are outside there, wherever you are going in farming or in agriculture, take agriculture as a business. Always it's very important to make sure that along your journey of that enterprise, seek for knowledge, work with a technical person who understands better than you may understand, to guide you where which inputs are you going to use on your farm. Even today, say you people don't carry out even soil testing. If you have a technical person, please, whatever every venture, I want you to embrace the knowledge of these qualified, trained agronomists we have in the country, so they can guide you how best you can go along when it comes to farming. When you do that, you'll get money. If you want to work a journey alone, you are not going far.
You're going to the third pillar, and we are still interested to hear the pillar.
Yes. Now, a third pillar, it is all about soil.
The third pillar is soil.
Soil. You have chosen a certain crop to grow. It can be coffee. It can be maybe you're in livestock. The first thing you have to understand, if you're a farmer dealing in crop production, you have decided to grow a certain enterprise or a crop. Where you are going to plant, do you understand the situation of that soil? The crop you are going to plant, that soil have all the nutrients that can support that crop grow.
Is it what I used to in agriculture, pH?
Yes, you have to, when you're doing farming, before even thinking of planting maize, tomato, watermelon, coffee, and other things, it is very important. Carry out soil testing.
If it is
get to know the pH. Why is it important to know the pH? The pH, when you look at the soils, when you get to know the pH, it will tell you to know whether which nutrients can be easily available by the plant or not. If the soil is acidic, you'll find that a crop will not be able to access certain nutrients. They are locked, they are there, but they are locked. Then if the pH is too high, still there are some nutrients, even if they're in the soil, the crop will not be able to absorb. Then two, with still on soil, get to understand which nutrients are there. Is nitrogen enough? Is potassium there? Is phosphorus there? Now, when you understand the soil very well, this is where it helps a farmer now. Someone who's taking farming as a business to minimize costs, to minimize losses, and also incurring high costs when it comes to investment. When you understand the nutrients in the soil, it's going to give you a clear direction which fertilizers you are going to buy.
Okay.
Or whether you need to buy fertilizers or not. But our farmers today, they just plant. They begin buying fertilizers, they begin applying, but actually is buying nitrogen, fertilizers that are rich in nitrogen, but the truth is the soil has already nitrogen. So that is already money wasted. It's like giving someone food when it's already satisfied. What's the purpose of that food? Like a doctor comes and treats you, but in that case you are not sick. Meaning you have wasted a drug and wasted your money, and even you are putting yourself at risk. So when it comes to farming, understand the soil is very important.
That is treating a disease with the wrong
diagnosis, gambling around, and
So-
that's what peasants are doing.
Are you saying this could be some of the things that maybe are costing farmers and peasants as well? Because the whole thing, I think, that you could be at some level, you are at a level of a peasant. Maybe if you are doing it well,
Yes.
at peasant level still, maybe you are doing like how you said, like you are using rudimentary means and
Yes, methods of farming.
of farming. But maybe through that process, you navigate to another level of now becoming a farmer. But why I think there are also challenges from why these people are not shifting from one level to another or increase production from one level to another could be partially or partly about the things you mentioned.
Yes.
Are there some other pillars that we can share?
Yes, there are more. So far I've mentioned the 3. I talked about the seed, I talked about the pesticides. If you're using pesticides of low quality, where you put a high dosage in order to realize results, just know you're going to spend a lot of money to buy chemicals, and at the end you make a loss. I talked about the soil, which is pillar number 3, and pillar number 4 is what we call cost-benefit analysis.
Cost benefit.
Now, when I talk about cost-benefit analysis, maybe in Luganda you can say embalirira.
Embalirira.
Gyokola nga tonayingira kukola project. So now, cost-benefit analysis, you have decided to grow coffee. Ask yourself, how many acres are you going to plant of coffee? If it's tomatoes, is it 1 acre, 10 acres, half an acre? Now, if, for instance, like tomatoes, if I say I'm going to grow tomatoes 1 acre, and I'm taking that project as my business, it's my office, that's what is all what I have. You have to sit down, write which variety of tomatoes am I going to plant. You write it down, it costs you how much, you write. Now, because you understand the project very well, you'll be able to know which fungicides am I going to use to control diseases, insecticides, how much I'm going to manage pests. Now, you write all those chemicals down and you put a cost against it and the quantities. If it's an acre, if I'm going to buy fertilizer, how many bags of urea or how many bags of calcium am I going to use? You calculate all those things. Now, after you calculating, you have added up the total. Maybe, for instance, like for tomatoes, if you are not going to use it to involve yourself to do certain activities on your farm, everything, you are hiring people to do it. In 1 acre of tomato, you will invest like a 3.7, 3.6, depending on the locality where you are. Some areas the difference comes in because of the labor. Other areas labor is cheap, other areas labor is a bit expensive. Now, but the total investment, for instance, like in the tomatoes, you realize that you spend around 3.6 or 3.7. Now, out of 3.7, you have to do what you call projections or rough estimates. If I've managed my garden 1 acre of my tomatoes, how many basins or kilograms am I going to harvest? And where you get the quantity you harvest, or in terms of kilograms, or in terms of basins, or in terms of boxes, cost it with the price, farm price you sell, the average one. Get the farm price multiplied by the number of kilos of tomatoes you are going to harvest. Now you weigh the two. If you realize that you are going to invest 3.7 and the other side you are going to get like 30 million, it's ready, that project is viable to take in. But when you realize that the output is less than the input, then that project is not viable.
When do I need to do cost analysis?
You need to do cost benefit analysis before starting up that enterprise. Because the advantage or the purpose why we do cost benefit analysis in farming is that it gives you a tip to understand whether where you are going to invest your money, either it is viable or not viable. Is it profitable or not? That's where most farmers are making losses in farming. He only hears a testimony from someone that I grew watermelon and I got 10 million. He just gets excited, he goes in 10 million. He reaches in the middle of the journey, he realizes he doesn't have the what it takes to complete, to manage the whole project. He ends in the middle, a disease comes, clears the whole garden, he goes back home to zero. That's what most farmers are doing. But if you did the cost benefit analysis, you know how much money you need to invest in order to get 10 million. You ask the last question to ask, do I have this money? How much? Do I have 50%? Now, if you realize out of maybe 3 million, you have like 1.7 or 1.5, then it's better you start that project. By the time that you use that money is over, you have got more money to invest. So you realize that at the end of the journey, you have been moving systematically and you are able to achieve. That is where farmers are making losses.
I feel like there are so many things that you have. Brings us to the end of this discussion, and really there is a lot to learn. And I think for those that will need his more for his guidance and maybe advice on agriculture, the contacts are down there. You will easily contact him on one-on-one, because we were trying to look at some of the areas how we can improve agriculture and do agriculture as a business, because agriculture is an industry which is still virgin and which can accommodate all millions of Ugandans.
True.
Actually, I'm sure that those who are on the street looking for jobs, this sector can consume you all. When we come back, we'll be looking at why and where do I, when and how can I make myself one of a proud farmer in Uganda.